What's up YouTube? I'm Zero Zeus and welcome back to another Boruto video. So this is going to be my Boruto 135 review. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you for watching and let's get right into the video. Now, this episode, there's definitely a lot to be said. I don't it's hard to pick where to start, but we're going to start off at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to explain some things. They might be a little out of order, but just bear with me. First of all, let's talk about how in the beginning of the episode, Urashiki took some L's. I'm not gonna lie. I like him. I think he's okay. But as always, the fandom is torn in between the two. But I like him. And he has all these different changes in Rinnegan and all this crazy stuff is going on with him, right? And then all of a sudden out of the blue, he gets his transformation that I'm not gonna lie, I kind of brushed off because I didn't really I don't know. I don't know. But it was definitely more than what I thought it was when I first seen it. I'm like, no, that looks dumb. But when I really paid him attention, he actually is cool. But we're gonna. Long story short, after he gets hit with that Rasengan from the last episode, he actually comes back and. Well, we come back and we see him. He's on the ground. It looks like he's dead. You can see his hand twitching though, right? And he gets up and he basically does this crazy transformation. And I was wondering how he was gonna reach that little white form like Momoshiki, right? Because I think he had to keep eating those pellets he was eating, or whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm talking about, right? And he basically used other people's chakra, and Urashiki eats the gore that he's been carrying around and gathering chakra inside. So he's been gathering chakra this whole time, and you don't know what he had before we seen him. And so he basically eats this, and he says it's not enough. So basically, this is the crazy part, right? He has these little faces that he looks so maniacal, right? He's still the same, but his demeanor changes just a little bit because he's so much more menacing than he was at first, right? He basically eats his eyes. That's I was not expecting to see that. He basically eats his eyes and he swallows them and he transforms, but not in the way that Urashiki did. Like Urashiki got bigger. You could see he was physically transforming. This like white vortex portal looking thing appeared in front of him. He went through it and he looked totally different when he came out the other side. I'm not mad at the design. I feel like they wanted him to look like Momoshiki but be different at the same time. And I feel like from my point of view, they landed it. And he goes all out. Like they pissed Urashiki off to no return, and you could really see that in the episode. Just he was not holding any mercy on Naruto, everybody else except for Naruto. Like Naruto, he had to keep him alive. He was still not pulling punches when it came to him. Like he was knocking everybody around the field. This was a really hype episode. I'm like, some people are gonna be mad. It's just like every other episode. It's always people torn in between the two and you can't choose. But I think this was great. I think this was great. At first, when I first seen him transform, I'm like, he looks more like a bird thing. What are they gonna do with this, right? And he has a yellow Byakugan. He has a yellow Rinnegan, right? And at the same, it's just so crazy that he ate his eyes too. Like, I'm sorry to just be rambling, but just looking back through it, that was a really taking scene, right? But yeah, I go back again and start. He looks more like a bird, but not in a stupid way. Like it's a lot of enemies that you run across and they look bird-like and they look so dumb, but he was perfectly done. I feel like the things on his head was a little bit too big, but you could still tell it was Urashiki. He doesn't look that much different. Like Momoshiki, when he transformed, the look was drastically changed. Like the way that he looked was drastically changed. But Urashiki still looks the same. You could put an image of him on an image of him afterwards, and they still look the same. I think that was pretty cool. Another thing that I thought was crazy is Jiraiya, Boruto, and Naruto was actually working together the whole time. Don't get me wrong, it seems like Jiraiya let them run out there, but at the same time, I feel like he's analyzing the situation. So I'm gonna give him a couple more points this episode too, because Jiraiya I have a newfound respect for him. Just I'm gonna show you why, because he didn't use Sage Mode in this episode. What was so crazy is he doesn't use the Renegon. Boruto doesn't use Jogan, and he doesn't use Sage Mode in any type of way. Any jutsu that would be any match for you or Urashiki, they do not do it. I don't know why. They still manage to do it in a cool way, to fight him in a cool way without using all those things. But yeah. And they actually have this moment, right? Where you see Sasuke, and I'm thinking that it's gonna take him a long time to actually reach the site where they're fighting at. But really, so let me explain the situation. Sasuke is basically getting healed by Sakura, right? And she's telling him not to move, and he's telling her not to move. They have this little moment that I'm pretty sure all those Sakura shippers just love. But basically Sakura has this moment. She falls out in his lap, and he lays her there, and he goes off to the battlefield. Now you see a couple more scenes where one thing I like about all of this is the same thing that worked on Momoshiki. It worked on Urashiki, but it didn't work on him at the same time. Like the invisible Rasengan, that definitely wasn't flying. He just stopped it with a palm of his hand. So I'm not saying Urashiki is stronger than Momoshiki. I don't know. I don't power scale, but he definitely deaded that right in his tracks. And you just have this moment, like, and then another thing I wanted to talk about was how he was manipulating the chakra rods, like in a different way than we've seen before. Like Madara, he stabbed him into everybody and held them into place, but he was using these like restraints, like zip ties around your wrist and stuff like that. That's like really creative. And for this to be this dude who seems like he's having a little bit too much fun, he's crazy as all hell, and it just like I like that. I like that insight. And basically Naruto is forced to watch everybody take this beating, and you see the chakra, the Nine Tails chakra start to emanate from him. And you have this moment where Boruto, and I wanted to talk about this. You have this moment where Urashiki actually jumps out the blue, and he's about to end Boruto basically, because he's like, I don't care if you're a vessel or not. It's over for you, basically. And Sasuke shows up. And I wanted to bring this up because this is a really hype moment. This is a really hype moment because it says, so does every Otsutsuki that come around, if you're a vessel, they could just tell? Or like, how does that work? Because I just picked that out of everything. Like he said that. Even though they didn't give us anything, they gave us that. So I was kind of hype about that. But basically Sasuke shows up, and he still in this moment does not have the chakra. He is not at 100%. That's another thing I want to talk about too. They're still doing this thing, but I'll give him more respect than I gave him before. This is a fully transformed Urashiki, and he's still going in without being at full chakra. So I'll give him that. Basically, you have a couple of sword swings. He's blocking him with the chakra rods. It's crazy because Sasuke is actually doing something. He uses the Mangekyo Sharingan, and he uses a Mataratsu. He basically tries to burn him. He sets his sword on fire with the black fire, with the Mataratsu, which was so cool. I was actually happy to see that. He doesn't do too much with his eyes, which I'm not saying like I'm not a fan of it, but I wanted more out of Sasuke. That I'm gonna say that, but we did get a little bit more of Sasuke versus Urashiki, but it ended on a bad note because he definitely was eating that dirt. That's all I'm gonna say. Urashiki made him eat that dirt. He was definitely to me, he was a worthy bad guy. I'm just gonna put that out there. I know a bunch of people are gonna hate that, but I think he was a worthy bad guy. So basically, he ends Sasuke, but I forgot to talk about Jiraiya's sacrifice. Jiraiya actually jumps in the way of Naruto. I know I'm all over the place. Like I said before, bear with me. And basically, Naruto is enraged. He used the Nine Tails chakra, and they explained to Boruto how he'll die if he takes it any further, right? If he keeps fighting, he'll end up dying. And Boruto has this little moment where he's running after him. And let me just say, I like the way this whole episode looked. You could tell they really put their time and effort and the artistry and the animation, everything was 100% to me. But basically Naruto knocks him away, and then you have this moment where he's still trying to talk to him. He's still trying to deal with like the fact that he was scared the last time when they were training. It's so funny that it came full circle and he accept that he was afraid. He accept that his father is like this and he's trying to help him. And I like that. And basically Naruto and Boruto go to this point, basically the state of mind that everybody knows, where basically Naruto talked to his mother, he talked to his father, he talked to the Nine Tails, he has this state of mind, right? And Boruto ends up being there, enlightening him, and they finally do the father-son Rasengan. That's the one thing I want to say. That was really hype. What was crazy about it to me is that it kind of looked like the one from Boruto Naruto, the movie. The way they did it, it wasn't as big, but it was satisfying. It was satisfying. And I'm so sorry, Urashiki, but you definitely caught that L. He was killed, seemingly. And from what I see, he was blown up. There's no way he's coming back. So that's the end of Urashiki. Rest in peace to a savage, because I like Urashiki. But yeah. And I feel like that was crazy. It's these little moments like with Sasuke and Jiraiya, right? And I forgot to mention Jiraiya. He's like, it's really like it's a lot of work having an idiot as a pupil, right? And Sasuke repeats his words, and I like that parallel between the two, being like, this is Naruto's teacher, this is Boruto's teacher. But don't get me wrong, Sasuke is a little different, being that he's a lot more serious than Jiraiya is most of the time. But anyway. Yeah, man, I just want to talk about this episode. I had to like explain in depth. This is a little bit longer than I usually make my reviews. I'm sorry, but I had to. This was a hype episode, but I'm gonna have to end it right here. This has been my Boruto episode 135 review. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next video.